Hi guys, in this video we're going to look at it kind of in follow-up to our factoring series. We're going to do an example where we complete the square. So completing the square is the process that takes something like ax squared plus bx plus c. It takes a quadratic in this form and it turns it into a quadratic, the same quadratic, but in this form. So this form is typically called the vertex form. And the reason why is because h comma k, after you transform it into this form, h comma k is the vertex of the parabola. So again, this is the same parabola here and here. We're just taking it into a different form. And in this form actually tells us exactly what the vertex of the parabola is. So let's jump into it with an example. Let's suppose that we want to solve, or sorry, let's suppose that we want to complete the square with this as our quadratic. Let's say it's negative 3x squared plus 12x, let's say minus 8. All right. Well, the first thing that we need to do is we need to factor out a. You'll see why in a moment. We factor out a, we get minus 3 parentheses. And now I'm only going to factor out negative 3 from the first two terms. So factoring out of the first two terms, this leaves us with x squared. And because this is plus and this is negative, we need to have an extra negative here. 4x, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space and I'm going to close the parentheses and I'm going to bring the minus 8 down. So notice I haven't actually, as this stands right now, this is still an equality. If we distributed this minus 3 through, we'd have exactly what we started with above. So we haven't changed anything yet, right? But what we're about to do is going to change things, and we'll compensate for that change in the step right after. So here's what I mean. The next thing that we need to do is we need to focus in on this minus 4, and we need to take half of it. So if we take half of minus 4, if we divide minus 4 by 2, we get minus 2. So we would take minus 2, add it in, or we'll take minus 2, square it, and then add it in here in the parentheses. Okay, so we've added 4 within the parentheses, but what's the net effect? Well, remember, we have to distribute the minus 3 through these. So really, we're going to have minus 3 times 4. Minus 3 times 4 is minus 12. So we've introduced minus 12 that was not there before at the beginning. So because of that, and because this is an equality, we have to add 12 here to compensate, to balance out that minus 12 that we introduced in here. Okay, so now that's the hardest part right there. And now we just need to realize this as a perfect square and then simplify, and then we're done. So we carry down the minus 3 and we think, okay, what is this as a perfect square? Well, it turns out that this factorizes as x minus 2. And it's because minus 2 plus minus 2 gives us minus 4. And minus 2 times minus 2 is, of course, minus 2 squared. So this is the perfect, this is the factorization here. So it's negative 3 times quantity x minus 2 squared. And then we also have minus 8 plus 12, which is just plus 4. So yeah, now we have this thing in vertex form. And in the vertex of this, in this form, the vertex is h comma k. So we can see that this minus and this minus are the same. So h here is 2, and k here is 4. So as a really quick sketch, We know this parabola opens down, so we know it has a vertex of 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So its vertex is here, and we know that it opens down and in that it has a 3 here. So it's opening down and it's going to be a little bit more narrow. So it's going to look something like this. This is a rough sketch. Anyway, here you go. That is completing the square.